Wow.
Boy,
Jesse, my phone's burning up. I've got like 15 or 20 texts. Can I call in? All right, go ahead if you have a question. But this topic, I think, riled people up, Jess.
yeah, it sure did. By the way, we have a clip of Dr. Robert Malone. We won't be playing it today, but it's a 4-minute clip. If you want to see it yourself, he talks about the dangers of injecting your child with a jab. You can go to our show page or my website, jesseromero.com. You can get the link there if you want to see Dr. Robert Malone, the guy that invented the mRNA injection.
Yep.
4-minute, 32-minute clip on the dangers of injecting your child with the jab. Because we want to take the next 2 segments to talk about what's happening in Mexico.
Yep, let's hit it, Jess. This is amazing.
The Mexican cardinals and bishops are being convicted as criminals for denouncing the pro-abortion socialist government in Mexico.
Where have you heard that happen before, Jesse, in history?
That happened back in the 20s. A whole movie was made about
Exactly.
that called For Greater Glory.
Yep.
And it's back.
It is.
It's back. They're just new faces and new players.
Yep.
That's what Scott Hahn means by history doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes.
Yep.
What does that mean? In other words, Plutarco Calles didn't come back from the dead and start the persecution, and Father Miguel Pro's not alive right now being persecuted. But what it means, history rhymes. It means the same thing that was happening in the 20s is starting to happen now, just different priests and different government officials.
Well said.
That's what it means. History doesn't repeat itself. It's not the same people. They're dead. But history rhymes. So 2 Mexican cardinals, a bishop,
3
and
priests.
priest.
Yeah.
3 priests have been convicted of constitutional violations for warning the public against the ruling party's opposition to the values of human life and family, and their advocacy of the LGBT agenda, and their promotion of socialism.
All good things to fight.
Sounds to me like 3 heroes, Terry.
Exactly, Jess.
The convictions have caused alarm in Mexico regarding their implications for freedom of speech and the right to criticize the socialist ruling party, Morena, which is accused of undermining Mexican civil liberties. So amongst the convicted are these heroes in my book.
Hey, me too.
The Cardinal Archbishop of Mexico City,
God love him.
Carlos Retes, the former Archbishop of Guadalajara, Cardinal Juan Iniguez. The decision was handed down on November 18th by Mexico's National Electoral Tribunal in response to a lawsuit filed by Mexico's ruling Socialist Party, which is called Morena. It stands for Movement for Social Regeneration.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Terry, this is exactly what was predicted in the book, The Brave New World, is that the government would become so large and so powerful, it would even control your thoughts. Not only your speech, even your thoughts. So the Mexican socialist government is now the thought police.
That's right. According to the court, Cardinal offended the Constitution by stating in a YouTube video, this is convicting him. Hey, when he goes to his exit interview, Jess, they'll
He's
play
going to go to heaven.
Exactly. The video of June 2nd of this year, he says, there is much at stake in these elections. Folks, tell me where he went wrong on this. Just show me one thing. He says, there is much at stake in these elections. We say that all the time. If those who are in power win, a dictatorship will come. That is, liberty will be lost, because we're talking about a system, are you ready? That is communist, socialist, and enslaves. Very well said. You just need to look at the countries that have fallen into it. He warned the economy of Mexico would be very damaged, and we're going to be very poor like Venezuela and Cuba. Jesse, that paragraph says it all. Yes. What did he say was wrong? Nothing.
Let me give you a little backdrop to this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Years ago, I was talking to Father Benedict Rochelle, who is just an eminent scholar. We were talking about, he said, Jess, you're Mexico, your parents have come from Mexico. And we were just talking about, he just knows a lot about the culture. He wrote a book, and he said that, he told me what book it was and what page. He goes, you know who funds Mexico's, he goes, their Freemasonic Marxist government. I said, who, Father? This was like 15 years ago. We had a conversation at Steubenville. He said, it's the American Freemasons, the billionaires and millionaire American Freemasons.
Wow.
They fund the Masons in Mexico. So the Masons here in this country with their dollars, they control Mexico by paying the Masons in Mexico big money to impose Freemasonic ideas and Marxism. That made sense to me.
Of course, but that's what happened back in the 20s, too.
Yes, same thing happened in the 20s.
Yeah.
It was the Freemasons that were ginning up the
right.
government to go after the Catholics and close down the churches.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, Jesse, I'm so inspired listening to a bishop speak like this. It's so refreshing. I hope some of our American bishops will pick up on this. Now, to avoid these outcomes, Sandoval encouraged
Cardinal Sandoval.
Sandoval encouraged the majority of Mexico that believe in God and in his providence. Are you ready? He's leading the flock, Jess, to pray much for him, to be enlightened and to help us, and to ask Our Lady of Guadalupe for her aid, and to pray in front of the Blessed Sacrament. He also encouraged Mexicans to do their civil duty and vote, and not to leave the field free to evildoers. You know what? This guy is the real deal, Jesse. Man, I'm like, I would back him up like in a heartbeat.
Wow, imagine, talk about moral clarity.
Of course, and even when he gets pressured. You see, Jesse, think of other parts of the world like China, where the bishops get pushed by the Chinese government, where the Holy See gets pushed by the Chinese government. This is a situation where we've got a shepherd who's willing to lay his life down. That's refreshing.